Yes, yes, yes. You know what time it is? It's the Mandem Link Up Show. I'm one of your co-hosts, the legend one himself, the MythMane. I'm with a special guest right now, way across the waters. You want to introduce yourself?
They know me as Flat Earth Dave or Dave Weiss, and I know the Earth is not a spinning ball.
There it is. That's
But
today's topic.
where are you located?
So I'm located in London.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
London
it's
born and raised.
afternoon. It's way late afternoon. It's evening, right? It's about 8
Yes,
o'clock.
it's 7 o'clock. Yeah, it's five
Yeah,
minutes past seven.
it's 2 o'clock here across the flat Earth plane. So there's so many things to go in, but let me open by explaining what the flat Earth isn't.
Okay.
All right. Most people, when they think of flat Earth, what do they think of? When you think of flat Earth, what do you think of? A pancake floating in space?
That's just a one level plane.
One level plane with an edge. Like if you go to the edge, what happens? You fall off into space like this,
No,
right?
that's what I would presume would happen.
Yeah. Well, that's mind control. They basically have people believing flat Earth is something ridiculous, like like a planet, a flat Earth floating in a heliocentric universe with solar system with other ball planets. So we're the only flat planet, which
Yeah.
is not the case at all. Most people, if you look up flat Earth, you come up with this. This is not what we believe flat Earth is. So wipe that. Excuse me, I have the hiccups.
No problem.
Wipe that from your memory, and well, what is the flat Earth? The flat Earth is like a pond. Think of a pond. The edge of the pond is the edge of the flat Earth. It's not the edge of the world. So you have all the continents in here. The Earth is a giant pond, right? All of the islands, the continents, are surrounded by water, but all of the water is surrounded by Antarctica, right?
Okay.
Antarctica is not an island at the bottom of a ball. It's just the shoreline of the world pond. And Antarctica is the highest land on Earth. Makes sense. You need higher land to contain the water.
Okay. So if you're saying that, then in terms of like based on the scientific of research that I know of, how comes in terms of like when it comes to like the weather forecasts and you always have the sun moving around the earth or we're rotating around it then? So how come the term rotation seems to be what we keep on calling it or what societies keep on calling it if the earth is flat, as you may
Right.
presume?
The Earth is flat and stationary. The sun, which is right here, right over here, is local to the Earth. It's above the pond and it just circles around the flat Earth. So here's the sun,
Yeah.
here's the moon, and it circles around the flat Earth. It's small, it's close. And the reason it looks like it sets is the same reason an airplane flying over your head looks like it's going down. An airplane, if two airplanes were parallel, one of them was right over your head and the other one, same altitude, but 50 miles to the south. The one that's farther south is going to look lower in the sky.
Yeah.
It's really the same height, but it's lower. So as the sun goes away, it appears to set because it just goes behind either a physical obstruction like mountains in the distance or a cloud deck. These clouds are the same height. This cloud will merge with the horizon at like 30 or 40 miles away, and then the sun just goes beyond it and it looks like it's setting. So most of the time, it really looks like the sun is setting. But if you go to a high, dry plain like in Africa, you can watch a completely different kind of sunset where the sun will just sit there. It won't go down.
Yeah.
It just goes away. Super clear, super dry, no distortion, no atmospheric blocking, because over distance, the atmosphere becomes opaque. But here, you can see much farther and it's just going away. It's just going away,
So
getting
how comes
smaller
that
and
we've been
smaller.
taught in school and in college and universities and stuff that the earth is round then? What is
It's
the
all.
main purpose then?
What is the reason? That's smart. That's the brightest question, and everybody has that question, and we'll jump right into that. The reason is mind control. They want to control your mind. They don't want you to know that you are at the center of creation, that you are a powerful being here that has free will, and nobody can take your free will away. They want you to believe that you're on a random speck, that you evolved from a friggin' amoeba that turned into a fish, that turned into a monkey, that turned into a human. Okay. They want, it sounds crazy. You know, the heliocentric model is insane, that you're on this insignificant speck in a godless universe or distant god universe, and you're spinning out of control. An asteroid could take you out at any moment. They keep you in fear with the fear of nuclear bombs and global warming and running out of, you know, fossil fuels, which are fake. There is no such thing as fossil fuels. You know, oil doesn't come from dinosaurs, but that's what they tell us. I mean, it's all nonsense, but it's all about control. Do you remember the Truman Show with what's his face? The Truman Show, the movie.
Yeah.
Right, Jim Carrey. Is it Jim Carrey? Right, Jim Carrey. It's the True Man Show. He's living in a domed world. Our world most likely has a dome over it. There's tons of evidence for that. It looks something like this, and we are all within this. The Earth is 70% water.
Yeah.
Large bodies of water at rest lay flat. We've measured it. This is something that we can measure. We can test. We've done it with lasers, mirror flashes, microwaves, all sorts of stuff. And this is stuff that you can go verify yourself. You can see things that should be hundreds, thousands of feet, miles below the curvature. When the conditions are right, you can see things way too far. So there's no curvature.
So how come it says that then the ocean has only been discovered about 5%?
Well, it's because we haven't gone and discovered all of the oceans. I mean, there's a lot of ocean out there. There's actually more ocean than they tell us. Because if you look at the flat Earth model, the southern oceans are really, really large, and we don't know, you know, what's out there. Here's the Southern Ocean. These are the southern oceans out here, right? But they don't let us know. Like there's uncharted waters out here. Like if you go, GPS will steer you around them because they have to squeeze you in other places. So when a boat or a plane goes out there, it's lost, it's gone. And when planes are flying, even just off of the coast, like between Hawaii and California, they're not even on GPS, and there's no GPS out there. So the whole satellite thing, that's a myth also. It's all about controlling your mind, because remember the line in the Truman Show? You know, he goes, "I want to be an explorer." And what did the teacher say? "Oh, Truman, there's nothing left to explore," right? So here's the thing. If you had a wild animal, tiger, cougar, whatever, and you kept them on a quarter of an acre with a fence, he's going to be pretty pissed off. He's going to be pacing back and forth. But if you put him in a safari park that was 50 miles around, right? One day he's going to see that fence. He's going to look at it. He's going to go, "All right, I can't get over that." He's going to turn around. He's going to go back in. He's going to have a good time. He's not going to care, because 50 miles is plenty for a tiger. But I don't care if you have a 5,000-mile park. You put a human in there, what's he going to do when he sees that fence?
He'll climb over it.
Yeah, no matter how big it is, I got to see what's on the other side. So they put a fence around us, and that's the ball. The ball is there's nothing left. But in reality, maybe, you know, the Antarctica is off limits. All right. Anything beyond 60 degrees south, which is this pink line, is completely off limits. No one is allowed to go there. No corporation, no person, nothing. All the countries in 1959 agreed. They made a treaty that goes until the year 2041. Nobody can explore out there, period. Why is that? Maybe this is Middle Earth, and maybe this is outer space Earth. And there's extra territory out here, extra land, extra terrestrials come from the extra terra across the Earth's plane in the outer space.
Okay.
There's a lot to think about.
So in terms of that then, would you say that you believe in space?
No, I do not believe in space. I believe in the outer space across the Earth plane. I believe that space is liquid. Right.
Okay.
I believe that, you know, that we live inside of like a bubble inside of primary water. Primary water is the primary water system. You know, evaporation, condensation, and precipitation is secondary water. That's secondary water. There's unlimited water for everyone ever. There's no water shortage. There's no food shortage. You can go in your garage and you can find a jar of seeds that your grandfather put there 70 friggin' years ago. You can take one seed out, stick it in the dirt. water, the most precious substance in the world, will fall from the sky and food will grow out of the ground. Doesn't that sound crazy? But that's the reality. There's no
Yeah.
food shortage either. There's no shortages of anything. There's no overpopulation. Now, people are polluting. Yeah, we shouldn't pollute. You know why? We're in an enclosed system. Don't pollute.
Yeah.
We're in an enclosed system.
So what about global warming then? 'Cause if we're in an enclosed system, what about global warming? If we're in a dome, like you say, wouldn't
Hmm.
that then heat up the dome? Then wouldn't
The
that not
the
have
ne-
consequences?
Yeah, well, the the Earth goes through cycles. It has, the sun has cycles. The sun isn't what you think it is, but there are cycles of global warming and global cooling. They have nothing to do with humans. Now, there is a lot of climate engineering that's going on, and people are like, "Oh, that's a conspiracy theory." It's not a conspiracy theory. They admit it. There's patents for it. They're spraying the skies with all sorts of poisonous chemicals. Um, and they're definitely manipulating the weather. And people like, how can you say they can't control the weather? So you believe that the military, the governments of the world can't control the weather, even though they admit that they do now. But you believe that humans inadvertently can cause climate change,
There's
right?
some
And
naive
then the
people in this
military
world.
can't figure out how we're inadvertently doing it and then do it themselves. Please. I mean, the whole climate change thing, that's another scare technique. When you send a little kid to school, look at their curriculum in the first few years of school. What is it? It's the first worksheet your kids are going to bring home are the moon, the sun, the planets, how they all orbit. So they're programming with the ball. All the classrooms have globes in them.
Yeah.
This is where you live. The teacher takes them outside and spins water on a bucket and says that's gravity, but that's not gravity. That's centrifugal force. Gravity would be if you turn the bucket facing the outside, right? Because the water is on the outside of the ball, right? All the children's programming, Sesame Street has astronauts on it. The Yip Yaps are talking about the sun, the moon, Mars, and it's all programming to capture your mind to make you think you live in this ball prison. The ball is a prison. The best prison to keep people in is one where they don't see the fence. And the fence is in our mind. It's the ball.
Okay. So in terms of that then, okay, 'cause I know, okay, I'm gonna go off topic. So like pyramids and all that type of stuff. Do you think that
Yeah,
was man-made or was that extraterrestrial?
yeah, I think, well, extraterrestrials, where do the extraterrestrials come from? Maybe the people that built them moved to the outer space and they left us in here to figure it all out ourselves. Okay.
Okay.
So I don't believe they're extraterrestrials. I believe they're humans. They probably speak English.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, maybe not, but they probably do. And there's a lot of stories about civilizations out there. Maybe all the Incans and the Mayans and everyone, they picked up and they moved out. Maybe their sun moved out and they followed their sun out there. And their sun used to be called Mars and their moon was called Venus, right? And then a new sun and a moon was born in the Middle Earth. Kind of sounds like Lord of the Rings a little bit, right?
It
Lord of the
definitely sounds like
Rings.
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, maybe go watch that movie again, huh? Um, and there's so much to it. I mean, the helio nonsensical system is ridiculous. And once you realize what it is, I mean, do you know how fast in the heliocentric model, the belief that you had before we started the show and that you'll never have again by the time we're done with this show? Do you know how fast the Earth is spinning, the orbit of the spinning of the Earth?
No idea.
It's turning at the equator. The equator is just over 24,000 miles around. So it has to go 1,000 miles an hour to make one rotation. If you're standing on the equator, you're moving 1,000 miles an hour. So you make a full rotation in 24 hours, right? Make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Okay. So you're moving 1,000 miles an hour. By the way, the speed of sound is around 700 miles an hour. So when you're watching the sunset, you have to believe the reason the sun is going down is because you're on the top of a ball falling over backwards faster than the speed of sound. And that's what's making the sun appear to go down. That's insane. Okay. We're going to go a little crazier. While you're spinning, you're orbiting around the sun at 66,600 miles per hour. Funny number, but we'll get into that. That's insane. While that's going on, you're chasing the sun because it's trying to run away at 500,000 miles an hour. So we're corkscrewing through space in all of these directions. Then the entire system's moving sideways at 500,000 miles an hour. But somehow we have lakes that can look like this.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense at all?
No, not really. When you know, when you think about it like that, it doesn't make any better sense at all.
Here's the thing that all ballers, you're a baller, by the way. Okay. All ballers have in common. They never thought about it because we were indoctrinated from so little that we never questioned it. It's a part of our core belief. You bring a kid to school and they teach them about space and dinosaurs. What happened to the dinosaurs? They were hit by an asteroid. It killed all of them. What does that do to a little kid's psyche? An asteroid could take us out at any time. So his core belief is fear based, right? And then there's dinosaur cartoons, dinosaur movies. It's all about keeping that fear, because when you're in fear, you lose your ability to manifest with your thoughts. The more fear you're in, the worse your life gets. Fear is the only thing to fear, is fear itself. Roosevelt said that. That's one of the only quotes that I think is real, because all the other quotes are just fake.
So to counteract that, then what would you then say if someone said, "So what happened to the dinosaurs then?" Would you say it then is out there? Might be in the different lands that's out of the circular dome that you was referring to.
There were giant I believe there were. I don't believe it. I know it from the evidence I've seen. There was giant humans and there was giant lizards, but there wasn't dinosaurs ever. Tens of millions of years ago. There was some big lizards, but all the dinosaurs they show us in the museums are made from like one bone. They find we found a neck bone on the top of this mountain. Well, it can't be a whale bone because it's at the top of a mountain, but you don't understand how the world can get flooded, especially if it's flat and enclosed and we're inside water above, water below. And then they extrapolate an entire dinosaur out of it. No dinosaur skull has ever been found, ever. They're extrapolating ridiculous things. Go get a Stegosaurus doll, get 2 of them, and see if you can figure out how they mated. Okay. Right? There's no way. There's no possible way. Any structural engineer will say these dinosaurs couldn't exist. There's no chance that that they could. But the guy, the royal guy I think in the 1800s, the guy that came up with the theory of dinosaurs. No dinosaur in history had ever been discovered. So when they built the pyramids, there was no mention of dinosaurs. All of the big construction through all of history, no one ever mentioned finding dinosaurs.
Yeah.
This guy came up with the idea of a dinosaur, and a year later, to the day, he discovered the first dinosaur.
I don't know. That's a lot of information to then question, especially about the dinosaurs. And then,
dude, there's some videos out there
because I've seen skeleton videos of like people excavating skeletons from the ground.
They're finding that. Wait, but you're not these giant dinosaurs, right? Here's proof of a dinosaur right here. Dinosaurs existed. Look, right? Does that prove dinosaurs existed?
Well, no, that's just a picture of dinosaurs.
That's just a picture. Right. So here, let me ask a question. Does this prove that the Earth is a globe?
Well, no.
No, it's just a picture, and a horrible picture. Look at the 2 differences in the United States. The difference in size. Okay. Look at the difference in size. Does that make any sense whatsoever?
So you don't believe that the Earth was once all the globes in the Earth was all together, then
all of the land, you mean?
And all the land. Sorry, separated. And the next minute, yeah.
Cool story, bro.
So you don't think so? All of that is just a whole load of BS, then?
Dude, this is the problem right now. And it's okay to be. You seem like a guy that is willing to change their mind based on new information. I'm giving you some new information. All right,
definitely.
It's easier to believe, right? It's easier to believe. I told you I live in Connecticut. I don't know if I did, but I just told you I live in Connecticut. Okay. So tomorrow, if someone says to you, where does that guy live? What would you say?
Connecticut.
Do you know that for a fact?
No, but you told me, so I'm gonna go.
Right, but you believe it. Yeah, you believe it, right? So if you wanted to find it out, how would you find it out? How long would it take you? Probably because I'm pretty well known. It probably take you a couple. No, it wouldn't take a year. You could probably figure it out in a couple hours. You could probably look up my videos and then find my Facebook and then pull a picture of me. Like, all right, look, that's a picture, and there's a building in Connecticut. Whatever, you can figure it out, but that takes time, effort, critical thought. It's so much easier to believe we live in a ball. This is the one of the most famous NASA pictures, right? Here's the United States. Here's when Elon Musk put his car, his Tesla into space. All right, so there's no United States there, so he must be on the other side. So there's no other countries either. Okay.
Yeah.
This is nonsense. This is mind jelly. Okay. This is what turns people's minds into jelly. It's unbelievable. All right, next. Go ahead.
No, I'm just looking at that picture because now it's a bit confusing because like, why would he then, post a picture with no continents at all?
He said, well, and by the way, when this was taken, they weren't even as high as the space station, the fake space station. We can get into that. And the International Fake Station, it can't see the ball like this. It only sees like a mass land. It doesn't see the edge, but he wasn't even as high. And he's showing this. This is all fake nonsense. How come there's no posters of this in every Tesla showroom? Pretty good advertising, right? Tesla in space. I'd buy that car. I'm like, wow, it's cars in space. I got the same car that's going to Mars. It's all nonsense. It wasn't on the cover of Popular Science, on Time Magazine, Newsweek. It wasn't anywhere because it was so horrible. Elon Musk in his press conference said, you can tell it's real because it looks so fake. We'd have better CGI. That's what he said.
Right? Giving us the truth and we're so naive that we wouldn't even believe it.
Yeah, it's unreal, my friend.
So then I got one question then. So what about the Earth?
More than one question. Don't say you have one question. Just one question at a time.
So what about the Earth's crust then?
The Earth's crust. All right. So the deepest hole ever dug is called the Great Borehole or something, the Kora Borehole in Russia. And it's just short of 8 miles, about 7.5 miles. And they hit something impenetrable. They couldn't drill through it no matter what they did, right? Couldn't get any deeper. They tried for years, can't get through it. While they're digging this hole, they're using ground penetrating radar. And it's telling them, all right, there's no more water. Up, they hit more water. Up, there's no more rocks. Up, they hit more rocks. Ground penetrating radar, nonsense. Maybe it'll tell you that there's a rock 2 feet below the surface, but that's about it. It wasn't able to tell them anything. So that's equivalent to drilling halfway through the skin of an apple. Okay.
Yeah.
And then they hit an impenetrable barrier, and then somehow they know what's for the next 4,000 plus miles. This is a meme based on zero science. And so everyone believes it.
That's a lot to take in then. That's like the whole of the science lessons I've ever taken from primary school, secondary, straight just out the window.
I'm unschooling the crap out of you right now because school is an indoctrination system. Guess who becomes the teachers? The ones that can memorize and regurgitate the nonsense the best. Then they get to teach it to the next generation. If you come up with a different idea, you get sent to the principal's office. You're breaking the plan. This is a meme.
So all of that stuff there. So it's just you're telling me it's just flat.
It's a flat plane. Now, good question. What's beyond Antarctica? We don't know because of the Antarctic Treaty. And you can't go out there. I mean, you can spend $10,000 to $30,000 or more to go there for a couple of days. They'll take you right here to this little peninsula, which is gigantic. It's bigger than some countries. And they'll show you some penguins, some icebergs. They'll take you out south a little bit and they'll show you a ceremonial pole. And they'll tell you it's the South Pole, but you have no way to verify it because compasses don't work. Compasses don't work. If the Earth was a ball with a magnetic center, like they tell us, and there's a South Pole and a North Pole, compasses would point to the South Pole in the Southern Hemisphere, but they don't. They don't work because they're too far from the magnetic north.
Okay.
Right?
So if the magnetic north, then so you're telling me now, so if I was to get out that circular dome and walk further ahead, I wouldn't be able
out south.
Yeah, further out south. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what's going to happen?
Well, you can't just walk out there. I mean, this is tens of thousands of miles. Where are you going? It's dark. It's cold. You have no way to navigate. GPS doesn't work. Compasses don't work. There's no food. There's no fuel. Where are you going?
So there's no sunlight at all that's reflected out of that.
No, well, there is some light out there, and the light in the south is very interesting because when the sun gets near I'll show you how the sun migrates in and out. And when it gets closer to the outer track, that light wraps around the dome. There's a difference between daylight and sunlight. And I'll get to that in a minute or two. But I was just trying to find you my video on how the North Pole works. Oh, here we go. So this is the North Pole. We believe there's a magnetic mountain there, but there's a magnetic force. And if you put a compass down on a table, the needle will point to the center. Okay. So you spin the compass. So north is pointing towards the center. And if you try to push that compass east or west, you have to keep turning. You have to keep correcting to the north. Right. So if you leave the United States to the east, you got to keep turning. East is a circle around the center. This compass is going east.
Yeah.
Right. And west is a circle. So millions of people have circumnavigated the globe, the world, east and west. They didn't go around a globe. They went around the lake. They circled around clockwise or counterclockwise. If you go south, if you go in a straight line in any direction, it becomes south. South is every direction away from the center, right? So you can't circumnavigate the world south, right? You can go east and west, but you can't go from like Santiago, Chile, zip right over the bottom to Australia. That would be the quickest route. Well, people say, well, you can't go over Australia. It's too cold. It's too dark. And it would cost too much to rescue you. Okay. So there's some islands out here with airports. You go around. This is the shortest trip. But that's not how airplanes fly when they fly to the south. If you want to go from Santiago, Chile to Australia or New Zealand, it's a completely different route. If I could find it, I would show it to you. Where did it go? Why does it do that to me? So when you want to go from Santiago, you have to fly all the way up to the United States.
Yeah.
Then across the United States, and then all the way back down to Australia, which makes absolutely no sense on a ball. If I could show it to you, I would. Zoom does this to me sometimes. They move my images. So I'll find it in 2 seconds. And that absolutely makes no sense whatsoever. God, where did it go?
So what about like cruises then?
Yeah, cruises, very good. Cruises are fine. Cruises in the north, cruises heading north and south, no problem. But there's no cruise from like South America to South Africa or to Australia or just around the bottom of the ball. They don't, because those are actually at opposite ends of the world, and it makes no sense whatsoever. I'm kind of bumming out here that my most important slide is missing.
Oh, there's too much information. It's soaking up my
Yeah,
head.
well, no, here it is. I got it. So this is the route I was telling you. And if you want to go to this side of Australia, check this out. Instead of just scooting across here, this is actually closer on a ball because it's at the bottom of the ball. You got to go all the way up here. You got to fly all the way over to where you are, over to Dubai, and then down. Okay. So this crazy route, why would they go that route? And the answer is because here's that route. Go up across America, over to England, to Dubai, and Australia. It's a straight line. All FAA manuals talk about the Earth being a flat, non-rotating plane.
Yeah.
It's a straight line.
Okay, so wrap my head around this then. So if it is a flat plane,
yes,
how come it's dark where I'm at, but it's bright where you are?
Very good. Good questions. So the sun, as I showed you in that video where the sun was just going away, it takes its light with it. There's a difference between daylight and sunlight. Sunlight is when you can see the sun. The daylight is the fluorescing of the sky. The sun is not a burning ball of hydrogen. It's like a Tesla coil. You know what a Tesla coil is, right? It shoots out energy, and it's what if you hold a fluorescent bulb near a Tesla coil, it would light up in your hand. You're holding it, it's not plugged into anything, and it'll just light up. The sun does that to the gases in the sky. Nitrogen fluoresces blue. Nitrogen is the dominant gas in the upper atmosphere, and it takes its light with you. Here's a shot of a balloon that we sent up at 100,000 feet, somewhere around there, between 80 and 100,000 feet. And over here, it's daylight. The sun is over here, and it's fluorescing the whole sky. But over here, it's friggin' dark. And that's not that far. And there's day and night next to each other. It's crazy.
Is that why you see like the sun sometimes, and then if you look to your north or whatever, you can see the moon at the same time?
Well, no, that's different because the moon and the sun can be in the same place, can be right next to each other. And let me show you. So I created an app, right? And the app is kind of the easiest way to visualize it. I kind of created it for myself just to visualize what the flat Earth is. And when I started showing it to people, people were like, "Wow, where do I get that app?" So I made it available online, and it is actually changing the world because so many people are waking up to it. There it is. So let me share it real quick. Where did that go? Hold on. And what the app does is it's so difficult. Why doesn't that show? Hold on. What the app does is it shows you how the sun and the moon and the stars are a perfect clock in the sky. And I wish I had done this.
So with
better.
all of
So,
this information that
Good.
you've been provided to me, have you not like decided to go to schools and do presentations and stuff?
You know what? I'm trying to. I'm
So
actually going to be doing some. I'm going to be doing a Skype calls like this, but with mass amount of people, 50, 100 people.
Yeah.
And everybody could ask questions. I'm going to be inviting teachers and all sorts of stuff. I've been trying to get schools, science classes, any level school, middle school, high school, college, to Skype me in, get me in on a Zoom call, and I'm challenging everybody to prove, give me one proof the Earth is a globe, and if you can, I'm offering a Bitcoin. You know what Bitcoin is, right?
Yeah, I know what Bitcoin. Yeah.
All right, Bitcoin's around $50,000 today, right? And I've been offering it for a while, still holding on to my Bitcoin for some reason because nobody is able to come up with a single proof of the globe. So as I'm futzing around here, there it is. All right, so share the screen, and there you go. Now you're gonna have a visual idea. All right, you can see all this.
Yeah.
All right, so let me, oops, move that out of the way. Can I move that? Look at that. Move that over here. So the Earth is a perfect clock. The sun goes around. I'll speed it up. The sun goes around once every 24 hours. Okay. And it laps the moon once every 28 days. So it's catching up to the moon. The moon phases are changing. So the sun keeps track of the hours and the days. The moon and its position and its phase keep track of the weeks and the months, right? The moon represents the months, right? Right now there's a new moon. So everybody, when you get to that, whatever date that is, don't email me saying my app is broken and there's no moon. It's just a new moon. There's no moon in the sky. And so like, if you saw the moon, like if you looked at your app and go, oh, the moon's right next to the sun, and you looked up at the sun, you'd see the moon. It'd be right there. It shows you right where it is. The stars go out and they spin almost the same speed as the sun, but they spin just a tiny bit faster. So right now the sun is in the middle of Pisces. Next month, I think this is Aries. Aries will catch up and the sun will move into Aries. It'll stay in here for a month. And then Taurus will catch up to the sun and the sun will stay in here for a month. And that's how the sun is in its sign for the whole month. And then after a year, we'll be right back in Pisces on the same date next year. And the stars always remain the same. Go out tonight, mark where draw a little star chart, sit in a certain spot, see exactly where the stars are, and go out at the exact same time next year or in 10 years, same time, same night, and every star will be in the same position, even though we're trillions of miles from where we were before, corkscrewing through this beehive galaxy. Somehow the stars never change. Ever.
So when you say we're corkscrewing through the galaxy, so we're just an infinite place where we're just, the Earth is just constantly just going through, just flying through.
That's the heliocentric model. We're not moving. We're not in a soul lure system. They're not stealing our soul. We're in the Earth system, and all the lights we see in the sky are within the Earth system. The sun is not this giant burning ball of gas. The moon isn't a rock floating in the sky. It's everything we see is within the Earth system. Let me real quick on the app. Down here is the featured video of the day. Every day, there's another video to watch. Short ones during the week, longer ones on the weekend. And that's the challenge. I say, everybody watch a video for 2 weeks, every day for 2 weeks. And then if you still think that the Earth is a globe, which you won't, because it's not, you can send me an email and send that proof. Before you do, you have to hit the question mark. And up comes all the questions you're going to ask. What about eclipses? You know, why the lie? You know, what about ships over the horizon? And if you click, hey, what about ships over the horizon? Up come a playlist that YouTube, that Google will not serve you. Like if you say, you know, boats going over the horizon, you're going to get Bill Nye, the lying guy, you know, talking about boats over the horizon and how the Earth is a globe when it's all nonsense. And these are things that you can verify yourself, unlike anything that NASA does, which is unverifiable. There's tons of other stuff on here. Well, let me show you how seasons work real quick, and then we'll jump out of here. So right now, the sun is almost at the equinox over that red line. That's the equator, right? The equator is 24,901 miles around on the flat Earth and on the globe Earth, because the globe Earth is literally just copying the flat Earth. So March 21st, it'll be directly over this. But if I jump forward to June, so I use the little jumping guy, April, May, June. In June, it's over the Tropic of Cancer, which is that inner yellow line. And us in the inner north will have our summer because the sun is closer to us, higher in the sky, right? 6 months later, 4, 5, 6, 6 months later in December, the sun is out over the southern lands. Australia is having its summer and we're having our winter because the sun is farther away. It's out south. Right. And for people in Australia, it's high in the sky. It's the heat of their summer. It's over them. And then when it comes back in, it's going to be farther up out north or in north for them. Everything's opposite because it's going inwards. And that's how seasons work. That's the only way seasons work. The whole idea of the tilt of the Earth causing the seasons on the globe, once you understand it, is complete and total nonsense. If you go to What About Seasons in there and click that, there's just 4 videos here right now. We're going to add some more, but you watch those 4 videos, you're done. You watch those 4 videos, it's over. Okay. You'll be like, the globe doesn't make any sense whatsoever. There's also other resources in here on some other topics, more resources. You got the curve calculator down on the bottom left, second from the left. So if you want to go and get a super zoom camera or a small telescope, you go down to the beach or wherever, and you say, okay, I see that object. I know how far that is. It's, 20 miles away. Oh my God, at 20 miles, there should be, 200 feet of curvature, whatever it is. Let's take a look. If I go, if I say, all right, I'm viewing from 6 feet high and I want to see how far something 20 miles away is. So I'll go 20 miles and I say done, calculate. There's 192 feet of hidden height. So anything at 20 miles away, the bottom 192 feet over the water surface should be hidden behind a wall of water. But what you will see is not only can you see the houses on the beach, you can see the sand on the beach. Okay?
Yeah.
It's over. There's no curve. The Earth is flat.
So what about tsunamis? Because that's one thing that...
Tsunamis.
Yeah.
Tsunamis prove the Earth is flat. Because I got to look up the data because there's been tsunamis that happen in a certain spot. Now, what causes them? I think they're telling the truth about, there's some pressure and, the bottom of the ocean moves and creates a tsunami. That's the same on a ball Earth, on a flat Earth. I mean, there are pressure. There's, the Earth has lots of pressure underneath. It has lava tubes running underneath the surface, and that's created by the electricity of the Earth. The Earth is a giant battery system. And, so a tsunami happens. And so then they calculate when the tsunami is going to hit, but sometimes it'll hit a place before it hits the other one that should have hit first. And that only happens in the southern oceans where they're lying about all these distances. So there has been some tsunamis in the past that make absolutely no sense on the ball. And they're like, well, they just miscalculated how fast the wave was going or where the epicenter was. But the reality is it works perfectly on a flat Earth, just like flights prove that the Earth is flat. Because on a ball, here's a flight from Taiwan to California, and this is the way they say they go. Right, Hawaii is right out here, and right about here there was an emergency. Somebody was having a baby or a heart attack or something happened. Right, And so where you're the pilot, we got to land immediately. Where are you going to land?
I'm gonna land near Hawaii.
Yeah,
So
probably
Hawaii
Hawaii
seems
is the
like,
quickest place,
yeah,
or even go over here. Possibly go back, but would you go all the way up to Alaska, thousands of miles out of the way? Probably not, right?
no.
Well, on a flat Earth, here's what it looks like: Taiwan, emergency, Alaska.
And these are the actual routes where real pilots fly
This
straight
is
down the
this
line.
is this is the path. They lie. We've done trackings of long distance flights. We've done it all, and these emergency landings break their rule. A lot of people say, well, they went to Alaska because that was had a better hospital and they had an airport that could accommodate them. But there's so many emergency landings that this happens to, and they only make sense on a flat Earth. There's a book, 16 emergency landings prove flat Earth. Okay. It's free online on a PDF, but also you can buy the coffee table book. It's amazing. And you picked it up and start looking at it and like, why did they land in Moscow, which was 2,000 miles out of the way when they could have just landed over wherever they were? And it's because the Earth is flat.
Cool. It's a lot of information to be soaking up. A lot of
Dude,
information. How long have you been researching for?
so I was brought into this kicking and screaming. I used to do a conspiracy podcast and people suggested I look into flat Earth, and I banned them from our social media for being so stupid, right? I'm not going to look into that. You're stupid. And we all know the Earth is flat. It's been we've known it since the Greeks, right? With Aristophanes, which by the way is bullshit. And then I was forced to look, and I said, all right, I'm just going to disprove flat Earth. I'm going to prove the globe and be done with this. And it took me just about 2 weeks of really trying to disprove flat Earth. And then I went for, I'm just going to prove the globe. And I realized things fall into 3 baskets. Works on a flat Earth, plenty of things, right? We can see too far. That only works on a flat Earth. Works on a flat Earth and a ball Earth, circumnavigation east and west. That works on both. Okay. Right. And only works on a ball Earth. That basket's empty. It's been 6 years. Can't find anything to put in that basket. Nothing whatsoever. That's why I offer a Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Okay. For you, I'll offer you 2 Bitcoins. All right. Just you.
Cool.
Yeah. So here's the thing.
So-
Nobody wakes up in the morning and goes, I'm going to be a flat earther, right? I'm going to alienate myself from my friends and family and take ridicule beyond belief. But in reality, that's what it was like 5-6 years ago. Now people are like, yeah, I'll talk to you about flat Earth. Yeah, I mean, I've heard about that. Let me look into it. People are waking up so fast. I think that's partially what's going on in this world right now. They don't want people to know, because if everybody wakes up to flat Earth and realizes that we are really all brothers and sisters, we're all one, and they have no power over us. Do you guys have lockdowns where you are?
Yeah, we got lockdown right now.
Yeah. So you know why you're locked down? Because of you. It's your fault. You're the only one that's locking you down. Get up, go outside, and do whatever the fuck you want to do, right? Because there's nothing they can do about it, right? But you'll be the only one out there, and you got to take, people are gonna be looking at you.
Get
They're gonna
arrested.
give you a ticket, but the ticket won't hold up in court. It's against the law. There are no laws, right? The whole thing is a belief system. Like money is a belief system. Money has no value except your belief in it. Authority has no authority over you except your belief in it, right? You believe that somebody can take away your free will. That's a belief. That's not a natural law. Natural law is you have free will. Just don't kill anybody. Don't steal from anybody. Don't interfere with their free will, and try to help your neighbors, right? That's all you got to do. That's it. But they have us all scared, selfish, fighting for ourselves, fighting against each other, and believing that they are in control when they're not. So, there was like 150 years ago, a empire worldwide of people that all were one. And since then, they have split us up. They have stolen our reality. There was some sort of reset that happened. Some people call it the mud flood or whatever, where there was a massive depopulation of the world. And then the people that came out on top, they hijacked the world from us. They gave us horrible medicine. They took away real medicine. They convinced us to take the jabs in the arms. They told us we live on a prison planet, that we're insignificant. in a godless universe. Now, there's plenty of people that are having a good life, that are doing well, that believe in God. That's fine, but they're still missing out on who they really are. And the analogy I use is the Matrix with Keanu Reeves. At the beginning, he's separated. His mind is trapped in the Matrix. His soul knows the truth of this world. I think I say your soul is the piece of God that's within you having an experience here. And by the end of the movie, he figured out who he was, where he was, what he was, and the power of his own mind. And he took his life back. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, people say, I don't care what shape the world is. I got to go to work tomorrow. Well, do you like working for more than a third of the year for all that money goes to the government? Probably not, right?
No.
They're funding things like NASA. Right? NASA is a Hollywood space agency. Then no one's been to space. It's all nonsense. Okay. There is no space. It's all to make us believe we live on a ball. NASA, all their satellites are launched on balloons, not on rockets. Okay. NASA owns all of the helium companies in the world. NASA is in charge of all international flight routes. All of them. NASA's in charge of the GPS system and the radar system, right? Because they're lying about all of it.
So no space. I always wondered, that space travel is a whole load of bollocks, to be honest. I didn't think that was real. I didn't think Mars. But so you're telling me now Mars doesn't exist, or Mars does exist, but it's just in the outer plane.
This is Mars. When you look through a super zoom camera, this is Mars. What the heck is that? The only thing we can say about those things in the sky that we see, stars, everything, including the sun and the moon, is that they're lights. We don't know what they are.
Yeah.
Okay? We don't know what they are. When you take a super zoom camera and look up at the star Arcturus, this is what Arcturus looks like. Okay? That's not a burning ball trillions of miles away. You're a smart guy. I'm going to go over these numbers with you because most people just melt when we hit these numbers. First thing is, how long, and I'm trying to build your knowledge on the size of these numbers. How long is 1 trillion seconds? Do you have any idea?
No idea.
If you guess it within a week, I'm going to give you a Bitcoin. So just take a guess for a Bitcoin.
Guessing
1
a week.
trillion seconds within a week.
I'm gonna sound like an idiot. Probably, I don't know. Like,
take a guess.
Not within. Is it within seconds?
1 trillion seconds. How long is it?
How long is it? Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I'll just say a day, maybe.
It's 31,000 years.
31,000. Okay.
31,000 years. All right. So here's the thing. Nobody ever does this to calculate. So we're told that our sun, right? Our sun is 93 million miles away. And our sun is a giant yoga ball, and the earth is a marble next to it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So if I brought the earth right down a mile over your head, it's going to fill the entire sky, right? Just for model purposes. It's filling the entire sky, horizon to horizon, because it's only a mile over your head, right? It's so giant. You got the marble and you got the earth, the sun over you, right? It's so big. It's filling the entire sky.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then we move it as far away as they say, 93 million miles, and it reduces to this size. So when you have something big and you move it away, it just gets smaller, right?
Smaller, yeah.
Okay. So due to perspective, it's now the size of a nickel held at arm's length. About, right? If I doubled the distance, how much smaller would it get?
So like a little dust.
Yeah. Okay.
Like
what if I made it 8 times farther? And I say 8 for a reason. If I made 8 times farther, we can scientifically prove that its angular size is so small that your eye couldn't see it.
Yeah, it would be gone.
Okay? So 8 times farther, I'm going to call that the I can't see the sun anymore distance. All right. So just remember that 8 times farther is I can't see the sun anymore distance. So they tell us our galaxy is filled with 100 billion stars, lots of them like our sun, some of them bigger, some of them smaller. And we can see them with our naked eye. Okay. The closest star, the closest one to us is 40,000 times farther than the I can't see the sun distance.
But yeah, somehow we can see it.
40,000 times farther. Okay. All right. 40,000 times farther. So, Polaris, our North Star, right? Polaris, the North Star.
Yeah.
You're familiar, right? So Polaris, our North Star, besides never moving, is 46 times farther than 46 times larger than the sun. 46 times larger. Okay. So the I can't see the sun distance is 8 times farther is 1 light hour. So 46 times farther would be like 2 light days, right?
Yeah.
So if Polaris was 2 light days away, we couldn't see it because it's too small, right? It's equivalent. But Polaris is 433 light years away.
And that's meant to be the closest.
That's the close. No, that's not the closest one. But I'm just saying these numbers are so ridiculous.
It doesn't make sense.
People's brains melt and they just like, well, I can see it's scientifically provable that you can't see it. You can't. It's impossible. And then remember, we're corkscrewing through the universe in 4 different directions at once, right? Right?
Yeah.
So we're on the heliocentric model, we're corkscrewing, spinning, orbiting, swirling, turning. And are you familiar with? You're not familiar with the Georgia Guidestones here in the United States, are you?
No.
It's a monument that built. It's kind of like Stonehenge, but we know that it was built in 1981. Unlike not knowing that Stonehenge was built in the 1950s, that's a whole nother story. But so in one of the stones, there's this little hole that you look through it at nighttime, and the North Star's there. It's there during the day too. You just can't see it because the sky's lit, right? You do a time lapse, all the stars are circling around. That's the North Star. How is that possible? When we're traveling trillions of miles, this thing's been up for 40 years and the North Star's never moved.
Yeah.
Ever. Not a speck.
I have no idea.
Yeah. You have an idea. Here's the idea. Your whole worldview has just been destroyed. Okay. The earth is flat. Here's the good news. You're not spinning out of control on a speck of dust. We're going to be hit by the sun's going to explode or whatever. All of that's fake. The good news is you are at the center of creation. Your feet are planted on solid earth. You are connected. You are part of the earth. You are part of the earth system. You are a powerful being and nobody has dominion over you. That's pretty good shit, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But then reality will tell you different. Well, the fake reality will tell you different, shall I say?
The fake reality is to hide God, to make you feel insignificant, to make you live in fear. And if you living, in fear, you feel insignificant, you give away your power and they can take it from you. They're not allowed to take anything from us without us willingly giving it to them. They always tell us what they're doing. And if we don't say no, we're saying yes. So it's pretty incredible how people get away with it. All of the previous religions or religions, cultures before us, they all had a flat earth cosmology, except this religion right here, NASA. Okay. They're full of it.
Yeah.
Right. NASA, the one that says Pluto has a desert that looks like the dog Pluto. Okay. That's an official picture from NASA. Pluto has a desert that looks like Pluto, right? The guys went to the moon in this homeless tweaker shelter made out of tinfoil, paper mache, curtain rods, and duct tape. All right. This is all pseudoscience.
Yeah. This is too much to take in.
It's a lot, man.
It's a lot to take in.
It's a lot to take in. They're controlling our minds with cartoons. This is a cartoon. This is a cartoon. Okay. This is fear. This is also fear. It's nonsense. And the best, listen, you can do this for free, or you can spend $2.99 on my app, which will save you, in 500 hours of searching the web for flat earth stuff. If you don't give up, you could find the same amount of information in just a couple, in let's say 2 hours on my app. You'll find more information. So if your 498 hours is not worth $3, then you have bigger problems. So all of the stuff is free on the web is what I'm saying. It's just you can't find it because Google's hiding it. So the app is super fun. It's available on Google Play. You have to have an Android 8.0 or higher, and on Apple, iPhone 6 or better. And if you're unsure, if I'm trying to rip you off, read the reviews. The reviews say it all. Okay. And it's by Blue Water Bay. Look for this because there's some knockoffs out there by some, Flat Earth Society gatekeeping trolls that are trying to not let you find this app and accidentally get theirs. which won't feed you any real information.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Cool. Well, there it is. So to sum it up, to wrap it all up, is the Earth flat?
And here's the thing. I don't expect you to walk away saying the Earth is flat. I know deep down inside you know it's flat, but you now have some work to do. You can try to forget this, but unfortunately, I just stuck a seed deep inside your head and I poured water on it and it sprouted already. All right. And there's no getting rid of it.
You have
So
no. I'm curious about this flat Earth thing now. So
you can fight it. You can fight it for as long as you want, but it ain't gonna go away. Right. And you can deny it, and then you'll just separate farther and farther from your soul's journey. Face the world that we live in. Get over the fact that we've been lied to. Once you get over that, you're like, okay, this is a way better situation that we're in. You're literally Neo at the end of the Matrix versus Neo at the beginning of the Matrix, right? For those of you that haven't seen it, go see that documentary called The Matrix, right? So there you go. The Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app is the best way to find it. My YouTube channel, also free, DITRH. It's just the initials for Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole. Start there. Start there. Watch all of the videos. My videos are 5 minutes is a documentary for me. I have all short videos on there, hundreds of them, right?
Cool.
And they'll blow your mind. And once you start going, and by the way, you might come across and go, well, what about sunsets over the water? Well, on the app, hit where does the sun go? And we'll show you how the sun sets over the water. We'll show you in illustrations. We'll show you in actual video, and we'll show you how to do it yourself. And then you'll go, oh, they never taught me that in school. I get it.
No pros, but I want to say a big thank you for coming on. You've definitely planted a seed in my mind. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to look into this. I'm definitely going to download the app as well. If you want to watch more videos, like I said, we'll have the link in the bio as well. We'll have it in the comments. So yeah, thank you for coming on to the show.
All right, man. Thanks.
Thank you. We'll definitely do a part 2 of this as well. I'll have
let it soak in for a little bit and then hit me up for part 2 for sure. For sure.
No problem. I'll have
then we'll just be two Flat Earth brothers talking to each other. Come on.
I'll have more questions.
I love talking to ballers, but you're a baller no more, my friend.
Oh, thank you. Well, have a good day, and everyone, I'll catch you in the next video.
All right, thanks.